606. Thank you, everybody, for joining another BatX release show here on Covers YouTube. Appreciate everybody joining the show. Seeing a lot of familiar faces, more than 210 people to start the show. Scott Sherwood, Dave G, Justin Morgan, Ryan Schultz, everybody, and all the usual faces hopping in. He, of course, is the man, Derek Carty. Everybody is coming to see him. Everybody wants the best bet from the BatX, and they got a good one on Monday with Flexen Under K's cashing in for all of the folks here on the show.
Yeah, Flexen was great. There's been some good ones lately. Yesterday, Zach Wheeler was like free money.
That was easy.
Hopefully we have. I think today's is a pretty good one. It's showing some pretty extreme value, so I'm excited about it.
We are seeing some crazy price differences between a lot of different sports books, and I won't go into too much detail, but I think as the shows go on, people may start to notice a little bit as they're looking from book to book as we get into this new season. But perhaps as things cool down a little bit, we can start talking about more of that. But for everybody in the show, I think Wednesday morning, you're busy at your work desk. Maybe you're on your way into work, depending what coast you're on. I think we just get straight into the release and get some of that value before we see these prices move. If you're ready to go, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Awesome. So reminder for everybody who's joining us for the first time, Derek Carty, the BatX projections carry a ton of influence within the betting market. And of course, these are going into prop markets somewhat early in the morning. And so what that means, especially on a day like today with a lot of day games, these prices, they're going to move, especially when there's as many people here on the show betting them. So it's important as you're watching these shows every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern time that you recognize the value of having multiple sports books and you learn which sports books will give you the best opportunity to get the price. But on our side, to make sure that everybody at least has a chance to get the price, we follow the release procedure. And as you're seeing on the screen, it's 5 different steps, and we go through it together so everybody can get to the betting slip with the bet in it at the same time and have a chance to get the same price as we all bet it together. So there's 5 steps. Here's how it works. First, we'll tell you what game we are betting on. And that'll give you a chance to open your sportsbook app, find the game, open it up, and you'll be able to be ready for step 2 when we tell you which prop market we are betting. We'll give you about 10 to 15 seconds to find the prop market, open it, expand, and you'll be able to follow along as we continue on to the 3rd step when we'll tell you what team we are betting on. And that'll give you a chance to scroll through, filter through, find that specific team, and get ready for step 4 and 5 when we tell you the player and we tell you the over or under, which will be the bet. And at that time, it is your chance to get it into the bet slip very quickly and then hit submit. Because again, everybody's going to be betting together at the same time. We're trying to keep this fair. And as we've seen, these lines are going to move. So with that said, let's get into the release for today. So for those of you who have multiple books, the best odds are at Caesars. So if you have a Caesars Sportsbook account, that's where you're going to find the best price. We will do the release price at a widely available market number. So again, if you have Caesars, start in Caesars as we begin with the game, which is Seattle at Chicago. So the prop that we are looking for is within this Seattle-Chicago game. So we'll give everybody 10 seconds to find Seattle-Chicago. And again, the best price you're going to find for this is at Caesars. The prop market, which we're looking at, is pitcher strikeouts. So it's a pitcher strikeout prop. So if you're at Caesars, you have to scroll all the way to the right side to find the pitching prop bets. And if you're at other sports books, you'll have to scroll through and find them all throughout the menu. And looks like we're having already books potentially adjusting. So we'll continue on saying that the team which we are looking at is the Seattle Mariners. And we'll give everybody about 5 to 10 more seconds to find the Seattle Mariners side of the pitching strikeout prop market. And the bet that we are giving out today is Robbie Ray under 7.5 Ks at minus 150. Now, minus 150 is available at a lot of different sports books. Caesars, just as we went on air, had minus 140. And there's other sports books that have 6.5 under at bigger plus money prices. So I'm curious in the chat as you're betting this, what price did you see? What were you able to get? How much did it move? Where were you playing? Let us know. Curious to see how these releases are going as we're continuing to kind of look and value the markets we're giving out, what people are able to get, recognizing who's betting what within the stream. Mike was able to get minus 130, didn't say where he was ultimately betting. We're starting to see Zach was able to get minus 154. Tyler was able to get minus 154. Some offshores had 154. Jared was at 365. And so those got yanked here in Canada. Minus 148 at Bet Rivers, slightly better than release. So there were people as well in the prop builder that got minus 154. Derek, before we get into it, if you're seeing 6.5 plus money, that's going to move shortly. Do you still like that under as well?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I might even like that more. Your chances of winning are going to be lower. I have the bet has projected under 7.5. You're going to win about 75% of the time. Under 6.5, you're going to win about 62% of the time. But the expected value on it, depending on the line, the one that I'm seeing is plus 122. Is actually a little bit higher than the 7.5 one. If you're okay winning a little bit less often on that. So yeah, I'm totally fine with that.
So when you're looking at Robbie Ray, what are you seeing within him within this matchup?
So there's a lot here that I think is not working in Ray's favor. First, Ray's an extreme fly ball guy, has always had issues with home runs, even after his breakout last year. Like, this is still a guy who's going to give up long balls, and he's in the best park in baseball for home runs today. So there's a chance that he just gets hit around a little bit and gets yanked. He's a lefty with a wide platoon split, and he's projected to face 9 right-handers. So he will not hold the platoon advantage against a single batter today, most likely, which is not a good thing. Then we have the issue of his fastball. It's in his first start this year, it was down 2.5 miles an hour, which everyone usually starts the year, not throwing as hard as they wind up working up to. But 2.5 is a big number, especially for a guy who he threw almost 100 pitches. Like, he was more or less stretched out, and his velocity was still down. If you look at last year in his first start velocity was the exact same all year. So yeah, shortened spring training, like, it's probably going to go up a little bit, but it's not a good sign. He also used the fastball more often, which is just not a good thing in general, because breaking balls are better than fastballs, but especially if the velocity is down and he's using a little bit more, just really not a favorable thing you want to see for Robbie Ray. There's also, it looks like some of the better pitching weather, or rather hitting weather in this game. And there's some rain chances as well. It's possible this game gets rained out. It's possible there's a delay, but I mean, that only works in favor of the under. Like, it's either, maybe no action if it gets rained out, or he could get pulled just because it's a delay and he doesn't go deep because of that. So there's just a lot of ways that this can hit. So I really think this is one of the better bets we've seen this year. I mean, obviously there's nothing guaranteed. We don't have a crystal ball here. It's all based on probability. But the probability of this one being a winner is pretty high.
Awesome. So Ray under 7.5 Ks, a lot of things working together there for that bet. And as people are noting in the chat, the market's now for the most part gone. We're seeing a lot of impact from the show on this, and obviously with it being a prop market early in the day. So it's something that we're going to continue to monitor in terms of the Bat X. There's a lot of obviously different props that come from that. And so this is episode 5 of a very long season. We'll continue to look at how people were able to get it, what they were able to see, and how available it was. And if more props or different markets have to come up, then certainly Derek will have that covered too. So it's just a learning as we go for everybody who's in the chat going back and forth. But again, it looks like a lot of people were able to find that 7.5, get the bet in on the under, and then people were also able to see that 6.5 at plus money too. So as you mentioned, Derek, projection supports both of those bets.
Yeah, I didn't actually say what the projection was, but I think I am projected about 5.7, 5.8. So yeah, either one is fine, especially because you're getting plus money on the 6.5 lines.
Fantastic. So we'll call it another successful release. We'll go back and review, but Robbie Ray under 7.5 Ks, minus 150, the official release, but also value at that 6.5 at plus money if you're seeing that or you're a little bit late to the party. That'll do it for us today. Hit the subscribe button down below. If you've enjoyed the show, you definitely have to follow Derek Carty over on Twitter. Look into the BatX further as well. All the links you can find down below in the description, as well as on his Twitter. Appreciate everybody for joining us this Wednesday morning, and we will be back with you Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern.